A symbol is never just a shape. It is a trace of movement, a moment where something inside escapes outward before language intervenes. Lines and curves, pauses press into a page. They function like fingerprints of the inner world, capturing states we rarely have names for. Before you now are four symbols. Simple, almost careless in their appearance. Each one drawn in a single motion, without correction, without hesitation. At first glance, they seem harmless. But that is precisely where truth conceals itself best, in simplicity, in the unguarded stroke. Each symbol carries its own internal rhythm, a way of processing experience, a pattern of emotion, instinct, and response. They quietly reflect how someone meets pressure, how they navigate closeness, how they decide retreat or move forward, even the parts they would rather not acknowledge. So do not analyze, do not compare. Simply look briefly and notice which symbol pulls your attention first. Not the one you admire, not the one you think you should choose, but the one that catches you before thought arrives. That first pull matters deeply. Intuition always moves faster than logic. It recognizes before the conscious mind begins its explanations. Each symbol represents a different inner state, ease or tension, openness or defense, stillness or momentum, freedom or the need for safety. You did not choose by accident. Something in you recognized itself. Your inner world answered before your rational mind had time to interfere. Now let us explore what your choice reveals. If the symbol that drew you in was a gentle, flowing line with soft curves moving side to side, lightly touched with small dots, then your inner life is currently shaped by quiet motion and deep sensitivity. This symbol belongs to those who do not push against life. They move with it. On the surface, you may appear composed, even understated. Others might describe you as calm or grounded. But beneath that calm lives a finely tuned awareness, one that picks up what most people miss entirely. Tiny shifts in energy, changes in tone, the silence between words. You sense meaning in places where no one thinks to look. Your emotional perception operates through subtlety rather than volume. You feel deeply, but without drama, like a breeze across skin rather than a storm overhead, like temperature changing so gradually that no one notices until the room is entirely different. This line moves the way fabric moves in air, soft, responsive, never rigid. It tells a story of natural adaptability. Your energy is not sharp or forceful. It does not collide with obstacles. It curves around them. When difficulties appear, you do not break through. You navigate. You adjust and bend and continue, often arriving exactly where you needed to be without anyone noticing how much awareness it required to get there. You do not force movement. You create it through presence alone. You do not push people. You alter the atmosphere around them until they shift on their own. Your influence works quietly, through tone, through timing, through the simple fact of being there. There is an ease to the way you move through the world, an unspoken elegance that never needs to announce itself. Your strength does not shout. It settles into a room and changes it from within. Some people leave marks through pressure. Others, like you, leave them through stillness. Being around you feels like background noise fading away. Things slow down. Thoughts clarify. Breathing deepens. You do not understand life through rigid rules or formulas. You understand it through sensation, through emotional signals, through what feels right before it makes logical sense. Your intuition is not something you activate. It runs constantly in the background, quietly orienting you toward what matters. More than once, you have known the answer before you could explain how. People may have called you too sensitive. They were wrong. Sensitivity is simply depth combined with awareness. Those who cannot feel deeply rarely see clearly. You do both. You notice what others rush past. Small, fleeting moments that carry meaning. The way light changes when clouds move. Warmth rising from bread just out of the oven. Rain tapping against glass in no particular rhythm. The look in someone's eyes when they finally feel safe enough to stop performing. You do not skim the surface of emotions. You enter them fully. That depth, at times, can feel heavy. There are moments when you wonder if you are too gentle for a world that demands loudness. But your softness is not a liability. It is precisely why you can listen without judgment. understand without needing to fix, and care without conditions attached. This symbol appears when life is asking you to ease up, to stop swimming against currents that are already carrying you somewhere important. You have been holding more than you should. Now the invitation is to exhale, to release the grip, to trust the quiet rearrangement happening beneath the surface of your days. You do not need to manage everything. Life is already adjusting itself around you. You have a rare effect on people. They open up without knowing why. They share things they have never said aloud. Not because you demand honesty, but because you create safety simply by being present. You do not burn through resistance. You soften it, like water shaping stone over time. The message of this symbol is clear. You are aligned. There's no need to rush. No need to force outcomes into existence. Follow the inner current. It already knows where it is going. Right now, your energy is breath and balance and soft motion. And that is exactly what will unlock what comes next. Now, if the second symbol was the one that caught your attention, the straight vertical line with subtle loop at its center, flanked by small dots, it points to a very different inner landscape. Within you lives a steady clarity, a calm authority, a sense of internal structure that does not depend on external chaos or the approval of others. At first glance, this symbol looks almost minimal, just a line, a curve, a few quiet details. But that restraint carries a message. This symbol belongs to people who value inner alignment more than outer noise. People who understand that real stability is built privately, long before it becomes visible to anyone else. The vertical line reflects your inner spine, the part of you that remains upright when life tilts sideways. When circumstances shift, when carefully made plans collapse, when pressure builds from every direction, you do not scatter. You return to your center. You find the ground beneath your feet. You trust your principles. You lean on lived experience rather than impulse. Your strength comes not from reacting quickly, but from staying grounded when everyone around you loses their balance. You do not fall apart under pressure. You do not reshape yourself to match every opinion that brushes past. That does not make you distant or cold. It means you carry yourself with self-respect. When others lose their footing, you remain recognizable to yourself. You know who you are even when the world forgets. Yes, you question. You doubt. You feel the full weight of responsibility pressing down. But beneath all of that, there exists a quiet knowing. Whatever happens, you will remain standing. Not because you are unbreakable, but because you are rooted in something deeper than circumstance. The loop at the center of this symbol matters greatly. It reveals that your strength is not stiffness. You know how to adjust without abandoning who you are. You listen before you move. You read the room before you speak. You sense timing the way some people sense weather. You understand something many never learn. Refusing to bend is not power. Knowing how to bend without losing your core, that is wisdom. And that wisdom belongs to you. The symmetry of this symbol points to your deep need for balance. Chaos drains you. Emotional volatility leaves you exhausted. You do not need everything mapped out in advance, but you do need orientation, a sense of direction, a feeling that your feet are touching something solid. Because of this, you naturally become a stabilizing force. In relationships, in work, in moments when everything threatens to fall apart, people feel calmer around you without understanding why. You do not make speeches about strength. You do not take credit for holding things together. You simply hold them. The small dots on either side of the line reveal another layer. Your awareness runs deeper than you let on. You catch what goes unsaid. You notice inconsistencies, subtle shifts in behavior, hidden motives moving beneath polite surfaces. You are difficult to mislead because you observe carefully and remember what you see. But you do not weaponize that insight. You do not manipulate or control. You choose integrity over advantage, even when no one would know the difference. From the outside, your decisions may appear soft or slow, but inside, they emerge from a deeply anchored place. People who choose this symbol often become an emotional center for others, even without volunteering for that role. When things unravel, you hold steady. When emotions flood the room, you bring clarity simply by remaining calm. You listen without rushing to correct. You give people space to breathe and find themselves. Still, every strength carries its cost. At times, you demand too much from yourself. You expect yourself to stay upright, even when exhaustion pulls at your bones. You suppress your own emotions because they feel inefficient or inconvenient. You maintain structure when what you truly need is permission to rest. This symbol offers a quiet reminder. Flexibility is not only for handling external life, it is also for how you treat yourself. You are allowed to pause, to soften, to not hold everything together all the time. If this symbol was your instinctive choice, you are in a phase of internal realignment, rebuilding boundaries that wore thin, clarifying priorities that became confused, refining your understanding of who you are and what foundation you stand upon. The message is simple. Stay centered, but stay human. Hold your line, but remember to breathe within it. You are balance. You are integrity. You are quiet strength that needs no announcement. And this choice reflects the structure already forming inside you. Now, if the third symbol was the one that caught you, the swirling form for rounded loops expanding outward, your inner world operates on an entirely different rhythm. This symbol is never chosen by someone who lives in straight lines. It belongs to people who experience life as movement, as tension and release, as overlapping currents rather than a single direction. You do not fear inner complexity because you have learned that growth happens precisely where different parts of the self collide and merge. Your energy moves in multiple directions simultaneously, and that is not disorder. That is expansion. You are not built for one narrow path. Your life unfolds through variations, detours, parallel routes that somehow all lead somewhere meaningful. Emotion, logic, instinct, imagination, they all live inside you at the same time, competing for attention, demanding expression. Sometimes they clash violently. Sometimes they synchronize into something beautiful. Either way, they shape someone who is vividly, undeniably alive. The four loops reflect four inner forces: sensitivity, intellect, creativity, action. You do not choose between them. You embody all of them, often in the same hour, sometimes in the same breath. People drawn to this symbol frequently feel like they are too much, too intense, too curious, too layered for simple explanations. Your inner world is larger than any single label, deeper than any one role could contain. You can love fiercely, think expansively, dream with wild boldness, and act with sudden decisiveness, all before the day is half finished. Inside you, freedom and focus coexist in productive tension. Logic does not cancel intuition. It dances with it. This combination is not calm, but it is honest, electric, authentic in ways that simpler configurations can never achieve. Stagnation suffocates you. Predictability dulls your spirit until you cannot recognize yourself. You need motion, challenge, expression. You grow by exploring territories others avoid. You breathe through change the way others breathe through routine. This swirling form also reveals something crucial about your nature. You are constantly evolving. Even when you appear still on the outside, your inner world churns with activity, processing, integrating, reshaping meaning from raw experience. You learn from everything that touches you. Conversations, mistakes, silence, pain, joy. Nothing passes through you unused. Everything becomes material for becoming. You feel deeply and you feel truthfully. That depth is the engine driving who you are becoming. You do not run from intensity. You step directly into its center. Somewhere in your core, you understand that real transformation does not happen at the edges of emotion. It happens in the burning middle. Strong feelings do not shatter you. They sculpt you into sharper, clearer versions of yourself. That richness, however, comes with friction. There are times when you feel stretched in several directions at once. Not because you are lost, but because you can see more than one true path at the same time. Your inner world can grow crowded. Ideas overlapping, desires pulling, impulses competing for your limited attention. That is not a flaw to fix. That is your design working as intended. You were not made for narrow lanes. You were made for networks of possibility. Flexibility is your greatest strength. Openness is your lasting advantage. You grow by moving, by trying, by engaging with life directly rather than observing from safe distances. Stillness does not teach you much. Experience is your only real teacher. This symbol also reveals a powerful intuition, not the kind that requires proof or explanation, but the kind that recognizes patterns instantly, instinctively. Where others see only confusion, you see relationships between things. Where others freeze in uncertainty, you sense direction emerging from chaos. You understand life as an interconnected system rather than isolated events. You find order inside what others experience as pure randomness. If this was a symbol that called to you, you are entering a phase of expansion. Your complexity is no longer something to manage or apologize for. It is becoming something to use, something to celebrate. You are ready to express yourself more fully, to stop compressing who you are to fit spaces that were never designed for someone like you. Your path will not be straight. It will be wide and alive and unpredictable, but filled with meaning at every turn. You do not need to simplify yourself for anyone. You need only to inhabit yourself completely. You are motion. You are transformation. You are living energy that reshapes whatever it touches. Now, if the fourth symbol was the one that reached you, the thin, graceful line topped with a small spiral and surrounded by scattered dots, your inner world carries a rare combination of tenderness and resilience. Your energy does not announce itself. It does not compete for attention. It does not push its way into rooms. It arrives quietly, the way light fills a space at dawn. Slowly, naturally, without anyone noticing the darkness is gone. This symbol belongs to people who move with care rather than caution, with gentleness rather than weakness. People who feel the atmosphere of a room before stepping fully into it, who listen with their entire presence, not merely their ears. The thin line reflects your instinct to exist without overpowering. You know how to be close without crowding, how to be present without intruding, how to remain true to yourself without becoming loud about it. Your strength does not live on the surface where others can easily see it. It lives inward, revealing itself only in small moments, in gentle gestures, in the calm that spreads outward when you are nearby. Others feel safer around you without understanding why. They simply do. The spiral at the top of the symbol reveals how you grow, not through sudden breakthroughs or dramatic transformations, but through layers. You do not discard difficult experiences. You integrate them. You circle back to old wounds with more understanding each time, more softness, more hard-earned wisdom. You are someone who genuinely changes from the inside outward. The tiny dots surrounding the symbol represent everything you carry with you. Details others forget. Subtle cues others miss entirely. Unspoken emotions you absorb without meaning to. Your perception is finely tuned to frequencies most people cannot detect. You notice discomfort before it finds words. You sense shifts in energy that remain invisible to everyone else in the room. For you, intuition is not an occasional flash of insight. It is your default state of being. But sensitivity carries weight. You absorb emotional atmospheres easily, often without choosing to. Other people's worries, tensions, and unspoken fears can cling to you like humidity. This leaves you drained without any clear cause, tired without having done anything that should exhaust you. This symbol offers a quiet reminder. Your sensitivity is precious, but it requires protection. You thrive in gentle environments, with people who understand the value of silence, with moments of solitude that refill what the world empties. The delicacy of this line communicates something essential about you. You are not here for noise or drama or dominance. You care about sincerity, about genuine warmth, about presence that does not perform. In relationships, you do not want storms. You want shelter. You do not want games. You want truth you can rest inside. Others chase attention. You seek authenticity. That makes you rare. That makes you deeply valuable in ways a loud world often fails to recognize. Do not confuse your gentleness with fragility. You bend, but you do not break. Like a thin branch in strong wind, you adjust, endure, and survive what would snap something more rigid. Your resilience is quiet, but it runs deeper than most people will ever know. If this symbol was your instinctive choice, life is asking you to listen inward, to follow the small signals others would dismiss. The quiet yes, the subtle pull towards something that has no logical explanation, not the loud goals designed to impress others, but the ones that feel right only to you. You influence the world through presence, not force, through warmth, not pressure, through a kind of soft power that reaches places noise can never penetrate. You do not need to become louder to be strong. You do not need to harden yourself to be understood. Your gentleness is your influence. Your light does not blind. It warms. And right now, that is exactly the kind of light your inner world needs. Each of these four symbols is more than a simple mark on a page. They function like snapshots of the soul, reflections of how your inner energy moves in this particular moment of your life. Some are drawn to flowing lines because their spirit seeks harmony and release. Some choose strong verticals because they are rebuilding foundations that crumbled. Some feel pulled toward swirling shapes because their energy demands expansion beyond old limits. And some follow delicate spirals because they long for softness, connection, and the permission to be gentle. Your choice was not random. Intuition never operates randomly. It speaks through images rather than explanations. It moves faster than thought and reaches deeper than logic. It recognizes what is already growing inside you and reflects it back so you can finally see clearly. This symbol is not telling you who you must become. It is showing you who you are already becoming and what part of yourself is asking for attention right now. Sometimes it highlights something you have been neglecting: rest, structure, freedom, tenderness, expansion, peace. Other times it simply confirms what you already knew but had not yet said aloud. And remember this: you are not limited to one symbol forever. You shift. You evolve. Today one shape fits perfectly. Tomorrow another calls your name. Your inner landscape changes like seasons, and each season requires different attention. The purpose of this was never to label you or place you in a category. It was to help you hear yourself more clearly, perhaps for the first time in a long while. If you wish, share which symbol called to you. Sometimes seeing what others choose helps us understand our own reflection with greater clarity. Sometimes we recognize ourselves best in the company of others who are also searching.